Okay, hello everyone. Today we have Elisa. Elisa was my student when I was teaching in Outram Secondary. She graduated 2023 and then very proud of her because she was awarded the Student of the Year in Outram. How do you do so well in O-levels?
One way that I felt like I did well for O-levels was because I knew the methods of studying and I'd find ways to enjoy studying so that I don't dread it. Hence, all the knowledge that I learned actually got absorbed into my brain. So, for example, for me, instead of mugging, I really dislike sitting in one area for hours because I felt that it was very unproductive because I like to explore Singapore and I like to go to places like visit shopping malls. What I do is that I actually study on the go and I felt that it really allows me to enjoy learning and see it as like a hobby instead of something that I have to do. The reason why I enjoyed studying was because I enjoyed the way that I studied. And that really allows me to not look at it as a chore.
When you talk about enjoy studying, right, there was this year where the ministry was telling all the teachers to focus on joy of learning. So that time when we think about joy of learning, right, we were thinking, what does joy of learning really mean? Joy of learning, does it mean like at the start of the lesson we play some Kahoot game? But I remember when we tried all these games, then students were like so rowdy until there was really not much learning. So when you talk about not mugging and moving around, I thought it was quite simple to me lah. Because one thing that science of learning says is when we sit too long, right, our blood stops circulating. When our blood stops circulating, our brain also numb. Another reason why we should not be sitting down mugging is like, you know, when we try to read something and then we try to remember it, right, this thing is stored in our working memory. Working memory is like our short-term memory. Then not everybody has very big short-term memory. Like for example me, I have very limited short-term memory. When I read a little bit, then after about a few minutes later I forget. Then I will try to have to read again. Then I have to keep reading and reading until I start memorizing it. But the problem with this method of studying is after the examination, right, I'll forget everything.
So for my subject combination, it was geography, business and bio, which all had a lot of memorization.
Yeah.
And sometimes exams are back to back. So if I were to just like you say, like store in my working memory, I tend to lose it quite fast. So if I will continue doing that and continue marking, I feel like it wasn't really beneficial for me. So what I do is that in my own time, I actually draw my own mind maps and actually bring them out to study that instead of textbooks because I felt that it's more concise and I'm able to remember it. For example, biology, instead of memorizing the facts, I try to make sense of what the content really means so that I understand the meaning and I'm able to explain it during the exam instead of actually just remembering the model answer, which is not really the point of studying to begin with. And I felt that it really makes it more meaningful because I felt that I was actually gaining new knowledge and getting fascinated by, for example, the human body.
When we study, right, we should not collect the dots. We should connect the dots. Connect the dot means whenever we learn something new, right, we should try to connect to what we know before. Let's say we learn A, we learn B, we learn C. We should try to make sense by connecting A, B and C and not just try to remember A, B and C and what are the keywords I'm supposed to answer. For example, in PE, right, rather than I teach you how to shoot, I should let you play the game first. Then I let you play already, then after that, I tell you what makes you win just now. You will say things like, oh, I try to flick my wrist, I try to go closer to the ball, or I try to look at the ring or something like that. When you say all those things, right, then as a teacher, I'll try to teach you, oh, when you do that, right, there's an acronym called BEEF. It's easier to teach students when students can connect, can make sense of it. Rather than I teach you and then, okay, you go to the basketball court and you try to do exactly what I told you to do just now. If a bio teacher tell you, okay, remember all these things, exam is coming out and then exam is going to test all these things, you must remember to write all these things. I think even if you can really remember everything, so what? After the exam, you also forget and then you also don't enjoy biology and then I don't think you want to be a doctor anymore, right?
I think I really like the point that by instilling curiosity in students, that we really allow them to want to learn. Because now I'm doing part-time work, right? And in a working environment, I realized that you only want to learn something if you're really curious and want to know how it's done. From a student perspective, I felt that what really works is that we can also teach students on how to explore different ways of studying so that at home, in their own time, we can allow them to seek their own methods and to remember what have been taught in class. I felt that for me, studying on the go really makes me remember. But some of my friends, they prefer to be in a quiet area for like short amount of times, and they will just study like 10 minutes and that's it. And that works for them as well. And I felt that students really need time to actually figure out what's best for them.
Actually, I was very inspired when you say students should be given some time and space to find the way to learn. I remember when I was teaching, right, I tend to impose my ideas to the students. I tend to say, oh, when you study, don't go to the fast food restaurant to study. You must go to a very quiet place and you must memorize. But actually, come to think of it, it does not really work for me also. And the worst is, nobody like to be told what to do. You try to learn this way, and then immediately the teacher told you, hey, no, you should not learn this way. You should do another way. As time goes by, right, you start to follow what the teacher are talking about. Let's say this shopping mall, if I come here and study, is it correct or not? If the teacher know that I study here, will the teacher scold me or not? So after a while, you start to worry about that people don't like what you're doing, and then you start to, okay, I just follow what you say. When you start to follow what people say, right, you stop thinking already. Students really need to figure out by themselves.
I felt that it is really important to not be under pressure by like what other people think and the tradition norms per se. I mean, we are all taught in school to be innovative, but if you're always trying to have a traditional way of studying, then that really goes beyond being innovative. And I felt that by taking control of how you choose to learn, it really allows me to be proud of the end product. So for example, if I see that I really enjoy biology and from a D I get into a C, it is more fulfilling that one grade jump than, for example, I mark and I stress over and I still see that one grade jump, but it doesn't feel as fulfilling and it doesn't really make me want to study even more. So I felt that by taking ownership of my studies, I really enjoy seeing the progress over time. Yeah. And I feel like that is what inspires me to want to do better every time.
Let's say we decided, oh, this is the way I want to study. I may make a lot of mistakes. I may realize that, oh, this is not a very good way to study. But the thing is, at least I understand what works for me, what does not work for me. I understand myself better. Actually, when we keep thinking about what we are thinking, right, our brain are actually developing. Next time when we grow up, we have all these experiences, we have all these failures and success, and then we know what to do. I really agree when you say if teachers want students to be innovative, right, then in the classroom, there must be a lot of space for innovation. That even if you decide the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, it is okay. And a lot of time I ask students, when I interview students, right, they always tell me teachers should allow students to make mistakes. And even when they make mistakes, teachers should not illuminate that mistake. Hey, why are you doing this wrong? Why are you doing that wrong? Because it is all these mistakes that we learn, and it is okay. Okay, make mistake, maybe just make mistake. What's wrong with that? Continue. You just believe in yourself. You can get there, right? In your experience as a student. What are some of the things that your teacher did that you think will develop creative thinking?
During business, our teacher actually made the class really interactive, and even though some people may still inevitably lag behind, they actually collected all the topics, all the notes, all the resources into one Padlet, so that whenever we study, we always have resources that can actually help us. For math, we had this teacher that really gave a lot of flexibility in the homeworks that he gave. For example, we are unable to complete them. He really found reason why that we didn't do it or why we require more time. That flexibility really gives us a sense of ownership into doing our work. And sometimes you will understand that perhaps I'm more strong in this area and I took my time to study, for example, algebra instead of triangles. And I felt that he understands and he find resources to support us in the way that we want to study as well.
When you talk about what your teachers did, it made me think of one word, trust. That the teacher really trusts you. Even when you did not submit homework, you actually say your teacher helped you to find reason why you could not complete the homework. Recently, I read a book about education in Finland, and then Finland is said to have the best education in the world, and they talk about teachers trusting the students. It makes the student feel that, or the teacher believe that the students want to do well. It's just now I'm still not sure, I cannot complete, I don't understand. Don't worry, later I will teach you back again. Everything is about trust. And because the teachers in Finland trusted the students so much, right, after some time the student also developed that trust in the teacher, and then the student also developed that relationship with the teacher, and then the student want to do well for the teachers. Sometimes we just have to start doing that. It's okay, no problem. You've done something wrong, that's normal. If I were you, I will make mistake, I will fail also. It's okay. Just try again. Sometimes all these words makes the students want to work 10 times harder the next time.
One reason why I feel flexibility is very important is because everyone got different ways of studying and everyone's brains are different. For example, if a teacher teaches a subject is in one way, it might not be suitable for everyone. And I felt like it's very templated. Like I learn the content, then I have a mini test. Learning is not a one big template kind of thing. So I felt that having a lot of flexibility really allows greater understanding of the topic, because it really eliminates the fear of making mistakes. And I feel like even in exams, the reason why I forget a lot of the knowledge was because I'm scared that what if I do wrong, or what if this sentence I miss the keyword, or what if it doesn't satisfy what the teacher expects me to write. I feel like this fear and this whether it's correct, whether it's wrong, really restricts studying and really restricts the art of learning. I felt that going to school was a stepping stone to wanting to enjoy learning, because learning never stops, right? So I felt that if we create a really good relationship with learning by gaining trust with teachers, by teachers trusting us, and by having the teacher to be someone that we want to learn from, it really inspires me to want to study, want to learn more from other people as well in the world. And it really applies back to work as well. Like for example, I'm not afraid to ask my boss what I can do better, or how am I supposed to do this operation, because in school I didn't have any problem asking my teachers. And I felt like by creating this good relationship with learning, it really allows me to want to learn. And I felt it is the entire reason why we go to school. And as much as possible, not to follow the tradition norms and expect perfection, because at the end of the day, we are all learning in our own ways, and all of us will have different paths and have different desires.
I really hope you can continue this kind of spirit, because as an adult, right, and when I go to work, it's all about try and error. It's not like I go to teacher training, I memorize a lesson plan, then I go to a classroom, then I apply the lesson plan, and then expect something to happen. All teachers will agree with me that this kind of thing never happen. The lesson plan, the sample template all never work for us. It's always go inside the class, we try this method, we try that method, then we try something that nobody have done, and then wow, successful, then we go and read about it. Oh, so this is what it is. Yeah, so it's always from experience, then we try to understand the experience, then we link theory to the experience. I'm really very happy that you actually share with me your insights about how you study, that you actually found your own way to study, which is, I think all students must learn. All teachers must allow students to find their own way of studying. Then we will all enjoy learning. So thank you so much for talking to me. Hope we can talk again. Thank you.